How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Transformers review. I know it's been a while since I've done a review, and I apologize for that, but today we're going to be taking a look at the 1989 Mega Pretender Thunderwing. He is a Generation 1 figure. Really awesome character. If you're familiar with the Marvel comic books of old, you know that he's the one that corrupted the Matrix. He's also a really, a powerhouse in the IDW comics, also taking on the Wreckers and such, but his G1 form here is really nice. I do like this jet mode. There are some problems with it, which I'll go over here in a second, but just really looks nice. You got a lot of great molded detail within the plastic. These nice little thrusters. The paint scheme is nice and such. It does come with two guns here and here, and then he has a cyclone gun, which is on top. Unfortunately, this piece doesn't really kind of sit flush that well. Not sure if it's just mine or whatnot, but you don't want to kind of, push it down too far. I mean, it's supposed to lock in right there, but you got this nice paint apps right here, and you don't want to scratch that up. But it is weird that his cyclone gun there is just blasting into his back, even though this is all the way down. Kind of weird, but other little discrepancies which I don't like is the fact that there's a gap right here. That's kind of odd and weird. His guns, you can switch them if you like. You can have them kind of more like this if you want. I have them the other way just so they kind of act like landing gears, even though he does have these kind of molded plastic bits here for landing gears, but they're kind of not the greatest in the world and such. But as you can see, you can tell where his legs are, his arms and such, but still not that bad of a jet mode, I guess. But the whole thing with the Mega Pretenders is the fact that the robot and the Pretender shell actually transform and can combine into a larger vehicle. So that's pretty cool. So if you want, you can take this piece off. So you have this piece, and then now you have a little jet, I guess, if you want. Usually I fold those kind of up. You can keep them down if you like, but... And there you go. And such. Now, we did get a Generations version back in the day, and there's some nice nods to the Generation 1 as far as at least like his arms being right here and such, but you see more in their robot modes, but we'll get to that when I do the transformations. But transform this guy, really simple. We'll start off with his inner robot mode, or his inner robot. So what we're going to do first is just collapse his wings, fold these bits back, fold up his head. Now, in the comic books, I don't think we see his robot mode, or if we do, it's only like once we see this actual mode. We always see him in his Pretender shell. But there he is. My camera will focus. He's got a nice head sculpt there. It's not too bad. Articulation, his arms can rotate around 360 degrees. In and out, I guess, if you want. Most of it's all because of the transformation, so... Quite small. I mean, he's larger than a Headmaster, but right in there with the Scout class size, like a Bumblebee and such. So a little bit smaller than your normal Pretenders and such, but... And if you want, you can give him his Cyclone gun. Alright, put that off to the side. Now we'll transform this guy. The shell here, get those out of the way. What you're going to do first is... kind of flip this piece up, flipping that piece up too, kind of reveals his head, and you're just going to flip his legs down, rotate his feet out, like so, flip this piece down, clicks into place, fold that piece back up, you can fold this piece back, and you can fold his wings back, like so. And we have his Pretender shell all transformed. And this is what we usually see a lot of. And it's rightfully so. It's a really nice looking piece. I mean, look at that head sculpt. The paint apps. And one of the biggest gripes with this guy is a lot of this stuff can wear off and fade. So you got to kind of be careful with that. But really nice looking. Articulation with this piece, arms rotate around 360 degrees, and that's it. Now, I'm not going to really put him inside of him because what's the point? I mean, he does cover up this gap, but I don't know. I usually don't display him like that. It's kind of a pain, too, to get him in there. Kind of reminds me of X-Kaiser and getting into King Loader and such. But not too bad. Unfortunately, you do have that gap, but it's kind of weird. He has this hole in the back of his head. They could have filled that in or something, but it's just kind of odd. But you give him his guns. Like so. And there you go. Again, this, I don't know if I mentioned it, but this mold was used for Black Shadow from the Transformers Victory line. It was retooled with a new head sculpt. Color scheme obviously was changed, but everything else, gun-wise and all that, same. All right, let's do some... All right, quick comparisons. Here he is next to the Generations Thunderwing, which I'm not sure if the United version of this mold represents this character more with the color scheme, or it represents the comic book. I'm not sure. But as you can see, you got some nice reference to the original with the green here, the shoulder pieces, the color scheme, and so forth. I did forget to mention that the Generations, you can pop off this front piece right here. The little drone. So it kind of, you know, is a nice little homage to, you know, his little robot form there and such. But, yeah, I don't really care. It doesn't really transform or do anything. But it is there, and it's a nice little, you know, added bonus, I guess. But there you go. You can kind of see them next to each other. And here he is next to Tarantulas, which I just happen to have him there nearby. So he's basically the size, I'd say he's bigger than a Deluxe, but he's smaller than a Voyager. So he's in that weird in-between stage. I mean, here he is next to the Age of Extinction Galvatron, which is Voyager-sized figure. As you can see, he's smaller and such, but still a nice figure to have in your collection if you're a G1 fan. I mean, he's a Mega Pretender. There's only two other Mega Pretenders, Crosshairs and, what is his name, Vroom, I believe, which are Autobots. And this was, again, retooled into Black Shadow. But very nice figure. Again, remember that he does have the three weapons, the two larger ones and the one smaller one. Obviously, you want to look for one that doesn't have that much paint wear because the black bits here do have a tendency to rub off and such. And you really want to get one that has a really nice face sculpt because that is really nice. So, all right, so that's about it for G1 Thunderwing, guys. Thank you for watching again. I really do appreciate it. Check out our revamped website, www.cybercastnetwork.com. And take care and stay tuned for more. Talk to you guys later. Bye.